Right now, you are sitting in one of the safest moments in human history.
No predator is stalking you. No rival tribe is at your door. No famine is coming tomorrow. By almost every measurable standard, you are fine. And yet your brain is doing something strange. It is scanning, worrying, catastrophizing over an email you sent 3 hours ago, replaying a conversation from last Tuesday, preparing, somewhere deep in its circuits, for a threat that will never arrive. Your brain does not know it is the 21st century, and that changes everything about why you are the way you are. To understand what is actually happening inside your skull, you need to go back. Not decades, not centuries, 200,000 years. That is roughly how long anatomically modern humans have existed. And for almost all of that time, the world your brain was built to survive looked nothing like yours does today. Picture the environment your ancestors woke up in every morning. No walls, no locks, no grocery stores or medicine cabinets. You were a soft, slow, relatively weak primate in a world full of things that could kill you. Lions, rival groups, infected wounds, drought. The next meal was never guaranteed. The next night was never safe. Your brain evolved inside that world, not this one. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux spent decades mapping the fear circuitry of the human brain. What he found was a system wired for one thing above all else: speed. The part of your brain called the amygdala can trigger a full fear response before your conscious mind even registers what it saw. In fractions of a second, before you think, before you decide, your body is already reacting. That is not a flaw. That was survival. In an environment where hesitation could mean death, a brain that acted first and asked questions later was a brain that passed on its genes. You are the descendant of every ancestor who startled at a shadow and ran, even when the shadow was nothing. The ones who stayed calm and waited to gather more information, some of them did not make it. This is what evolutionary psychologists call the negativity bias. Your brain is not neutral. It does not weigh good and bad experiences equally. Psychologist Roy Baumeister reviewed hundreds of studies and found that across virtually every domain of human life, bad is stronger than good. A single harsh criticism lands harder than 5 genuine compliments. One day of sadness weighs more than a day of joy. You remember the one time someone let you down more clearly than the 100 times they showed up. That is not weakness. That is engineering. In a dangerous environment, the cost of ignoring a real threat was death. The cost of overreacting to a false alarm was just a wasted sprint. So your brain learned to overweight the negative. Every time. Automatically. Without your permission. And here is the part that should change how you see yourself. That same system is running in you right now. When you wake up at 3 a.m. replaying something embarrassing you said 5 years ago, that is your threat detection system doing exactly what it was built to do. When you dread the presentation at work with the same intensity your ancestor felt before entering unknown territory, your brain is not being irrational. It is being ancient. Psychologist Elaine, in her research on the brain's attentional system, showed that people reliably detect threatening stimuli faster than neutral or positive ones. Flash a crowd of faces on a screen for less than a second, and the angry face jumps out. Your eyes are drawn to it before you even realize what you are looking at. Your visual system is not just seeing the world. It is scanning it for danger. This is also why bad news spreads faster than good news. Why a scandal goes viral and a quiet act of generosity gets 100 views. You are not broken. You are operating on ancient software in a world that evolved faster than your genome could. Here is what makes this stranger still. The human brain did not just evolve to detect threats. It evolved to detect social threats with the same intensity as physical ones. Because for your ancestors, being cast out of the group was not just uncomfortable. It was a death sentence. Alone on the savannah, without fire or spears or the protection of numbers, a solitary human did not last long. So your brain treats social rejection with the same neural machinery it uses for physical pain. Neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger scanned the brains of people who were excluded from a simple computer game. The regions that lit up were the same ones that activate when you stub your toe. The same ones. Social pain is not a metaphor. Your brain does not have a separate department for hurt feelings. It runs it all through the same ancient system. That is why being left out of a group chat stings. Why a cold shoulder from someone you respect can ruin your entire afternoon. Why public humiliation feels, somewhere deep in your nervous system, like a threat to your survival. Because for 200,000 years, it was. Your cave brain is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is just doing it in a world it was never designed for. Think about what your average day actually looks like from the perspective of that ancient brain. You wake up and immediately check a glowing rectangle that delivers a curated stream of conflict, catastrophe, and social comparison from around the entire world. You sit in small, enclosed boxes, hurtling down strips of pavement at lethal speeds, surrounded by strangers. You spend 8 hours performing under the evaluation of others, waiting to be judged, rewarded, or rejected. Then you lie down in a dark, quiet room and wonder why you cannot sleep. Your brain is not confused. It is overwhelmed. It was built to process the threats inside one small tribe, in one small territory. And now it is trying to run on a global feed with no off switch. Psychiatrist Norman Doidge has written extensively about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself in response to new experience. And the good news is that this capacity is real. Your brain is not a fixed machine. It is a living, changing organ that responds to what you repeatedly do and think and feel. The cave brain is the default. It is not the ceiling. But the first step to changing it is understanding it. Really understanding it. Because most of what you call your personality, your worries, your social anxieties, your restless nights, your hunger for approval, your dread of conflict, your tendency to imagine worst-case scenarios, none of that is you being broken. It is you being human. It is 200,000 years of survival logic running inside a body that is technically living in the safest, most comfortable era your species has ever known. You are not anxious because something is wrong with you. You are anxious because something was right with your ancestors. The brain inside your skull right now was shaped by every near-death experience your lineage ever survived. Every failed hunt, every lost child, every winter that almost did not end. Every moment a shadow in the grass turned out to be something real. That brain learned. It adapted. It got better at keeping the next generation alive. And then it handed itself to you. You inherited a machine built for a world that no longer exists. A machine that is faster and more reactive and more threat-sensitive than you will ever need for the life you actually live. And it runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no manual and no shutdown button. Which means the most useful thing you can do is not to fight it. It is to know it. To recognize the moment when your amygdala is screaming about an email the way it once screamed about a predator. To notice when your negativity bias is turning a minor setback into an existential spiral. To understand that your hunger for belonging, your dread of being judged, your impulse to compare yourself to everyone around you, these are not character flaws. They are features of an ancient system running in a body that has simply outpaced the world it was designed for. Right now, you are sitting in one of the safest moments in human history. Your brain just has not gotten the message yet.